What's going on, guys? Welcome to another week of the HC Dynasty League podcast. I'm your host, Matt Poole, along with my host, Logan Cheek here. Today's going to be kind of a different episode as well. We're obviously going to get into our review of Week 7 and our preview of Week 8. But with it being midseason, we thought it'd be fun to do a little midseason awards. Another thing we'll throw in every week the waiver wire pickups up to the time of recording. Things can obviously change. People still have lineups they haven't set yet, but we'll just kind of try and piece it together the best we can. And with that, I'll send it to my co-host for last week's review.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Matt. Glad to be here again. So first off, before we start the games, I got to give a shout out. One of our members got married, Dalton Garrison, big time. Yesterday became a husband. Apparently, I got some word also that we had a certain owner, I believe a snake oil salesman is what Dalton called him, Colton Cowan, trying to swindle Bijan Robinson from him on his fucking wedding day. I was like, what the fuck are we doing?
I haven't heard that one yet, but
Good God. Leave it to fucking Colton.
I can back him up on that certain person being a snake here, and just a guy who just no humility at all whatsoever. No humility.
It's ridiculous.
The guy scored 168 points this week and just never won a championship, but you think he's won 3 of them. I mean, I don't know. I'm just glad to get this week over with. I don't have to listen to him anymore.
God forbid you have a medical emergency, you try to swindle people off your team for $1.
Oh, I know, dude.
My God.
What's he thinking?
No, but congrats, Dalton. Big time. Hopefully
yes,
it doesn't. Hopefully it maybe turns that season around for you. Maybe just need some loss and love.
God, I hope so. I've got so much stock in his team, and they're just letting me down right now.
Like I said, we'll kind of go over last week's results. Everybody at this point knows if you won or lost in heartbreak fashion or blowout fashion. But the first one we're going to do is mine and Grant. So it was the equivalent of a mid-2010s Big 12 no defense whatsoever game. And I know that hurts Grant to hear because I've heard from at work about every day how teams go off against Grant, and I'm just another example of that, unfortunately for him. Will say, though, to face a team without Josh Allen, James Cook, and Garrett Wilson and have to score 150-something points to win was a little frustrating, but I'm glad I pulled it off. So I just have a couple big notes from that. Obviously, the first one is very obviously the Michael Penix over Matt Stafford move. I'm hearing from Grant he aimed to play Stafford. No proof of that. It's not getting changed. I'm 4-3. It's all good. But no, I believe him on that one. Sleeper can do some weird shit, so there's no doubt about that. But I think the big takeaways were Grant showed he's an absolute wagon. To be able to score 150 points with those people I named out is impressive. I don't care how you do it. So the big ones for Grant that really stuck out to me. One, Rashee Rice, hell of a pickup. He's going to be a problem. He only made a great team better. Yep. So he 100% made a great move there, just shipping a first rounder to Dalton for that pick or for Rashee Rice.
It was 2 first rounders, wasn't it?
Was it 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Even if it was 2.
Still,
worth
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right. It was 2. And then we'll talk about him a little bit later as well, but Tyler Warren stands out to me so much. It's so hard to get talented tight end position. Grant has it for a long time. So those are the 2 guys that really stuck out to me. He had some other big-time performers, Keenan Allen, amongst others, but obviously, my boy JSN came in big. I had wide receiver 1 right now, and I don't know if he's going anywhere. He's leading the NFL in yards by like 200.
Yeah.
Balling. So shout out JSN. It took a little patience, though. It wasn't no year one wonder. It was 3 years into this thing, and I remember shopping him around a little before, and I'm glad I did it. Another big thing, I got a new team name, Dart Vader. No more of the underperformers. We are Dart Vader now. And
elite fantasy team name.
I'm fucking riding Jackson Dart. I'm riding Jackson Dart for the rest of my life. Love that dude. I'm gonna get me a Jackson Dart jersey. And like, if I could just get my whole team to have as much heart as Jackson Dart, we'd be going somewhere. Unfortunately, Travis Etienne does not have that.
I'm definitely pulling for Dart right there with you because obviously, being a Malik Neighbors owner, I'm hoping he comes back next year. Just a guy who can actually get the football to my guy. So, yeah, just really hoping he continues just to progress at this level that he's progressing, because I need him to get the ball as much as possible.
Yeah, he can sling it. Good Broncos defense, still put up points.
Yep.
I think really the only other thing that I have is Colton. I don't know if you're wide receiver you anymore, buddy. I mean, with JSN, CD, Puka, Olave had in the mid-20s. I don't know, Colton. I'm just saying it might be my time. I get AJ and Jamar, played well. We'll get into them later, but it might be time to hand off the rights over.
I think he actually changed his team name. I think you might have bullied him into doing that.
Well, it's actually just Team Jonathan Taylor now, which is true, which we'll talk about as well. So.
Yeah.
All right, Paul, you can go on and give your overview as well.
Yeah, so just a couple of points. I mean, this has got to be one of the highest scoring matchups in league history, I would think. I mean, almost 304 points scored in this matchup. Yeah, it was just offense galore in this one. And like you said, Grant scoring 150 with all those guys out. Like, he's just the all-around favorite to win this championship, in my opinion. I know crazy things can happen in the playoffs, but, I mean, I just find him as the clear number one team going into the playoffs. And another thing, both of these teams scored 150 points with Ashton Genty putting up a 3.9-point game, and Kamara, who's just kind of struggled all year, putting up 4.5 points and still scoring 150. So if Genty can ever find his groove and Kamara can be what he's been known to be, I mean, like I said, both of your teams are just going to continue to score a plethora of points every week. And another thing, Chris Olave, past couple weeks, it's looking like he's starting to finally break out. Had 24.3 this week, and I think last week he had 12. As long as he can stay healthy, I'm curious to see if he can maintain this pace that he is. Just, coming out of college, he was so hyped, and it's just like all these concussions have set him back. But a couple good weeks in a row, and I'm hoping that, he can finally start to find this line where he's averaging, 12, 15, 17 points a week. Because we know the talent's there. It's just, can he stay healthy and finally show it all?
Right. Yeah. Definitely. So we'll go on to the next one. Paul, I'll let you take this one first. It's going to be the Jake and Dalton matchup.
Okay. Yeah, just a couple notes on this game while I get that pulled up. So final score of that one, Jake Ogle came out on top 122-89. I think if we're going back to our picks from last week, I think this is the one where I picked Dalton. I'm not 100% sure. Man, Dalton, I've got so much stock in your team, and it's just letting me down right now. All I've got, Dalton's team did him no favors. Caleb Williams, 4.6 points. Rashad White, 6.4 points. Saquon Barkley, 4.7 points. Justin Jefferson, top 3-4 receiver in the league, only 10.5 points. Devonta Smith finally broke through. He had 28 points, but looks like Darren Waller is on the IR. Bijan, 18 points. That's usually a down week for him. Luke McCaffrey, no points. Romeo Doubs, 10 points. His team just did him no favors this week. And for Jake, I'm sure he's ecstatic about this, but Travis Hunter finally had his breakout game, had 20 points, one carry, no yards, but had 8 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown. And for him, you kind of want to see that multiple weeks in a row, but he'll have a bye this week. I know that probably stinks for him because you'd like to see him put multiple weeks together of good games. But it's nice to finally see him have a good game after just really being non-existent up to this point this year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm glad Dalton got married this week because his fantasy team definitely did not make him happy. I'm glad he had something to live for. Because
that's the thing, like Dalton knows ball. We know Dalton knows ball. His team just not backing him up real well. I don't know what's going on. He's had a pretty good team on paper for a couple years, and it's just they can't all click at the same time, put it all together, and ultimately, break through to where it equals, playoff wins, championships. I'm just waiting for that to finally happen.
Yeah, I mean, you covered a lot of it. I mean, really, the thing with Dalton, one, it sucks to see Bo Nix with 40 on your bench. I mean, that's brutal, especially whenever Caleb had 4. Yeah. But I think the real big thing with Dalton is, and it's no secret, he's kind of developed his teams a little bit like this over the past as well, and I don't really know if it's worked out for him, but he kind of keeps trying to do it with elite talent up top, but not a lot of supporting cast members. If Dalton's going to win games consistently, he's going to have Saquon, Justin Jefferson, and Bijan combined for probably 90. Like, that's just going to be what it is because I mean, Darren Waller going to IR, he was catching touchdowns every time he stepped on the field.
Yeah.
But, I'm really not going to expect this out of Devontae Smith week in, week out. I don't think he's going to get that much volume in the offense. And if it does, obviously you can see it definitely has a direct reflection on Saquon Barkley's production. The big thing for Jake, like you said, Travis Hunter showed up. He's went from 60% of offensive snaps to 70 to 80, and I think this one he was in the low 90s. And so that shows they're gravitating to the wide receiver position. He's playing corner some, but corner doesn't get you points in fantasy football, and Jake's starting to reap the benefits of Travis Hunter.
And he's going to need Travis Hunter, especially with, CD coming back, and you kind of saw that regression from George Pickens this week, only 4 catches for 82 yards, 10 points. You'll take it, but, Jalen Waddle, 1 catch for 15 yards. You know how much of a dumpster fire the Dolphins are right now, so you really don't know what to expect out of them every single week.
Right. And Jalen threw it. That was another big thing he had 326 passing yards, 19 completions, had some bombs. And so that's big for him too, because he was getting, in the 20-point range. He was playing well, but seeing the ability to get it through the air and on the ground helps a lot. But honestly, my biggest takeaway from Jake's team was Ladd McConkey got 15 targets because that's massive because obviously he started slow. Quentin Johnson was back this week. Thought maybe last week was a fluke because Quentin Johnson didn't play. Quentin Johnson had like 3 catches, I think. I'll look whenever we do Colton's team, but he caught a touchdown. But 15 targets is nothing to shake a stick at by any means. So I definitely think that Jake is starting to see some results of being patient. He had 122 with even some of his best players, Krosky Merritt, Waddle, all these people combining for 5-7 points. So I think Jake had a good week. I think he's 4-3. He has a lot of positives to look for going into the next week. And like I said, that's the one that we disagreed on, and I had to get that prediction right. So
you'll take any wins you can get in this league. It's so equal now. You'll get any win you can come by in this league at this point.
Definitely.
Like we said last week, it's really starting to show. Like those first couple of years, you had your 2 or 3 teams at the top that were super good, and then you had your bottom dwellers. But you got 7, 8 teams separated by 1 game now, so it's really anyone's game.
All right, so next is the Garrett and Jack game. This is, I'm not going to lie, probably one we won't talk about very much.
Okay, so I actually made a note of this. If CBS had to send an announce crew out to this game, it'd be the Spiro Dedes and Adam Archuleta group. They send those poor guys out to the worst matchup every week.
Yeah.
God bless them. But
pretty sure I saw this matchup air on the CW at Tuesday night. So, not the best matchup there in the world. I would assume they were probably selling tickets at Costco for this one.
Oh, yeah.
So Jack moves to 4-3 though. It didn't take a lot. He probably would have won it with his 16-team league score if I was guessing. I don't know how much he scored, but
I'm sure he might have.
But Mahomes continues to play well. Judkins stud. We talked about how great of a draft, how great of a draft it was for Jack last week. He's killing the draft. And Ferguson stayed hot. So really, that's all that was that positive for Jack. Adunze didn't do anything really. Dobbins had an okay game. RJ Harvey was whatever. So did enough to win. But I'm not going to sit here and act like he should have beat a lot of teams with that show. Yeah. And then Garrett's obviously, we said every week, he's going to be in the cellar. He's going to get to have the best lottery odds. It's just what it is at this point. All he can do is hope somebody like Matthew Golden or Troy Franklin or somebody like that, Caleb Johnson can get, or not Caleb Johnson, sorry, Cameron Johnson, maybe get some run with Evans out, and hopefully you can just see some talent you can train together. I loved Manor. I picked him up. I played him in 16-team league, and the dude just does not produce. I'm tired of him. I've done it twice, and I'm done with him. And he also, the last thing with Garrett's team is it got hurt worrisome if Jaden Daniels doesn't play next week.
Yeah. I will say the one bright spot about his team, Michael Pittman, early in the year, he was depending on touchdowns, and you thought surely there was going to be some regression there. This guy's not going to score a touchdown every week. But, I mean, he's got 6 touchdowns. He just continues to play well. He's had 17 points, 16, 12, 12, 17. 2 weeks he didn't catch a touchdown. Obviously, he had 3 and 6, but he continues to ball and continues to be the big target for
Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes, yeah. But, yeah, other than that, Jaden Daniels hurt again. Maybe starting to get the old injury bug. Starting to pick up the God damn it. I'm fucking drawing a blank now. Injury prone. Injury prone. Yeah, getting ahead of my skis here. But no, thing about Jack's team, his big 3 carried him to this win. Mahomes, Judkins, and Ferguson gave him 72 of his 110 points. Don't know if they're going to do that every single week, especially with the supporting cast he's got here. I mean, Ollie Gordon, Cooper Kupp, RJ Harvey. It just depends. I mean, I don't know. I think in our awards this upcoming here in a little bit, we're going to talk about him a little more. But I don't know. I don't see Jack really making a deep run this year. But, yeah, he's got 3 really good players, but I don't know his supporting cast. It's just – I don't know. I don't think it's the supporting cast you want going forward. But we'll see. But like you said, I don't really think Jack feels like he won this game just because it was so ugly. But like I said, you take them wherever you can get them here.
That's right, yeah. So our next game is going to be 2 of the teams that Jack would have beat. A lot of talk, not a lot of action here by these guys, but Taugle and Matt Petrocchi.
Yep.
Nice defensive bout here, Paul, if you want to go first on this one.
Yeah, so, man, I mean, Q's team right now seems like it's in a free fall. He's lost 3 or 4 games. He's got some injuries. I know this week, like Ibuka's questionable. He only had 7.8 points this past week. Baker only had 11 points. Of course, when Mike Evans gets hurt, it's going to happen. Kyron Williams only 7.5 points. Cortland Sutton had 13. He had a decent game. Kenneth Walker, just continuing to be a victim of my Zach Charbonnet goal line carries. Tucker Kraft had 15. DK didn't show up again. Devontae Adams, 24. He had a good week. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Q's really been one of my big disappointments this year. I mean, ever since he's came into the league, he's just been so steady. Drafts well, always makes a deep run in the playoffs. Like we've said, he's had 2 championship appearances, just couldn't get over that hump. I'm really worried about Q's team right now, especially if these guys don't start getting healthy. I mean, we could see him in the lottery this year for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the window may is shut. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to say that him get hot and knock me out of the playoffs and me get a lot of shit for it or something. Yeah. But I think it's over. As much as I hate, because it's amazing how much of a impact piece Kenneth Walker was to that team, and he's just not that anymore. Not without goal line touches, he's not. No. And so
we've seen that completely flip this year because it seems
100%.
Like Charbonnet's getting every single goal line carries, where last year, it was kind of split. I think it might have been like 75-25 Kenneth Walker, but now it's just Charbonnet's vulturing all of these touchdowns.
Right. And I mean, another thing with Q that is kind of a sneaky thing is Jacoby Myers has consistently been a top 15 to 20 receiver in fantasy, and he's currently out. He's trying to get shopped to a different team. That could help. I don't know how long the timetable is for him to come back, but I just don't know if Q's going to get it. And then over to Ty. This is no secret. Ty's worst week he's probably had in this league in 3 years, but. He had to start Sam Darnold. Lamar may come back. I know he didn't practice on Monday, but he may come back this week. That'll be a massive help. Jahmyr Gibbs continues to be an absolute stud for him. That draft where went Bijan, Gibbs, and then JSN was an absolute home run for all 3 of us, in my opinion. The biggest thing for Ty is Mike Evans. I mean, Mike Evans is not going to play anymore this year. So his depth's going to get tested quick, and he doesn't have a lot of it. And so if you see another guy go down on Ty's team, it's going to be a little bit of worrisome situation for him. But right now, I don't have any doubt that he still has ample talent in the lineup to get over the hump and even go back to back. But he's a lot thinner now. Now that he lost him.
Yeah, and that's the other note I had on this game is his team just underperformed this week. Brees Hall only 6 points, David Montgomery 5 points, George Kittle didn't have a single catch in his game, Mike Evans on IR, Brian Thomas. I mean, it's kind of been a thing for him all year, but you just think eventually he's going to break out. But yeah, it goes to the question, can Trevor Lawrence support two receivers like that? I don't know. Drake London only 6.2 points. Devon Achane only 11 points. So I don't think this is going to be a thing going forward. It's just like a 1 week thing where the stars aligned and all these players didn't show up. I definitely don't have no worries about his team going forward, like you said. Unless there is another injury, then you got to start finding some players to put in your lineup every week. But I think Ty's going to be just fine.
Yeah, I definitely have two different emotions on those teams. I'm very, very worried on Q. Ty. Probably couldn't be less worried for anybody else. All right, so last game, obviously one you're really familiar with. Unfortunately, you didn't get the win this week, and it's because you decided to play a team that scored 168 points. So that was another insanely high-scoring game. Just one of those that you do whatever you can, but in fantasy football, you can't play defense. So I'm going to go through this one quick. You can obviously probably talk about it a little bit more than I can, but for Colton's side, Danny Dimes continues to be amazing. But his and I already talked about it earlier, the big ones for him are Jamar Chase and A.J. Brown showing up finally. Joe Flacco might be the savior for both of you guys with, T on one side and Chase on the other.
Yeah.
But Colton just kind of had the stars aligned for a really, really good team. And I don't anticipate these kind of numbers out of Colton every week, but I do think he has the ability to put them up every week, even with Torrey McMillan only getting 4 and, having some other – still having Tony Pollard in the lineup is rough. He's been okay, but he's not been great. Nico Collins wasn't good. But, I mean, he scored 168 points is nothing to put your nose up at. But I will say, Paul, you impressed me on this one. I thought this was going to be the start of the downfall for you, and I'm not going to lie, after the Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard situation. But, I mean, you put up 150. You beat anybody except for, 3 teams. Or actually, you probably beat Grant, I think, by a couple by
the only teams I would have lost to – the only teams I would have lost to would have been you and Colton.
Right. So, DeAndre Swift's been good. Much better than I thought he was going to be, I'm not going to lie. But Marv has got to get it going if you want to do something. But outside of that, Charbonnet getting the goal line touches is massive. Dak's been awesome. And then Christian McCaffrey. As long as he stays healthy, you're going to have a puncher's chance. I will say this week maybe more of a believer in you a little bit. I don't know if you're going to win it, but I do think you're going to make the playoffs now. So you can go on.
Like I said, just sucks when you lose to this guy who has absolutely no humility whatsoever,
He's a cocksucker. I mean, there's just no way around it.
Act like you've been there before, which he hasn't. I mean, he hasn't won a championship. I get it. But little man syndrome. But my takeaways, John Taylor's RB1. I mean, the dude just every week, just points galore. I'd say it'd be between him and McCaffrey for RB1. But that, he's got the best duo in the league with John Taylor and Jamar Chase. I mean, I'm more apt to bet on Jamar Chase scoring 25 points a week every week from here on out than I am 10 or 15 just because, I mean, we have T. Higgins to throw to, but, I mean, we got Jamar Chase lined up out there on anyone. I'm going to throw him the ball as much as I possibly can. I mean, had 23 targets this week. I mean.
Yeah, that's unheard of.
I mean, I don't know if we can even.
That's not sustainable.
No, he can't keep doing that every week, but like you said, if any
quarterback. He'll take 10 off. 13's good.
I mean, if Flacco has his option, he's obviously Higgins is a nice option, but he's going to be throwing it to Jamar every time. So, as far as me, I mean, I'm just trying to survive, man. I'm trying to get this thing, the playoffs, find a way to win, 3, maybe 4 more games and make it. Once Malik Neighbors went down, I thought the sky was falling. I was ready to just throw in the towel, give up as many people as I could for draft picks, but I held steady, steered the ship. We've scored at least 130 points in the last 3 or 4 weeks. And like I said, me putting up 150 this week, I'm starting to believe in my team even more, than I ever did. So I think we're just going to stay put where we are. Like you said, Marv, I will say I'm the biggest Marv fanboy there is. It's not his fault. Drew Petzing is a domestic terrorist, needs to be fired. They need to get a new quarterback in there. I don't know what they're doing. Only giving him 6 targets a game. This dude should be getting 10 targets a game. I don't know. But other than that, Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard had to split carries this week. Chuba had 6.5 points. Dowdle had 10. I think it's clear who the overall RB1 is there now. I think Rico's kind of taken that over. I'm just kind of hoping they can both get me 10, 12 points a week at this point. I'll take that out of them. I'm just hoping my team can give me 125, 130 points a week and win just enough matchups to kind of drag me into the playoffs.
Sure. All right. Well, that's going to complete it for the week in review. We'll go to awards next, then we'll do waiver additions and then previews. So we decided to come up with a few awards. That's why this show is going to run a little long. We're already at 25 minutes. Yep. It is what it is. We get to 40 or 45. That's fine. But it's halfway through the fantasy season. This league is tighter than anything you could ever imagine. So it's going to be a good time for us to reflect on the first half of the year and give out some awards, and some good, some bad, some in between. But we sent a list to each other what it is. So our first award, if I had to guess, is probably the same person. It's most dominant, and I would have to say it's probably Grant, right?
Yep, that's what I've got too.
I think it's easily Grant. Grant has put up the most points in the league. He has gotten screwed by the points allowed a couple times here, but Grant has a great team, and there's no secret that he's going to be a person that you don't want to run into in the playoffs. Could be another first-time winner. Mm-hmm. And just has all the stuff stacked for him here, and I'll actually talk about one of his players later on, but that I think really put him over the edge. But still, I mean, I don't think we have to talk about it a ton to know that Grant's probably the best team in the league as we stand right now.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think he's put himself in that upper echelon of teams with him, you, Ty. I think any of y'all three could win the championship this year, and that's saying a lot because the records are so close. But I mean, if you just look at the teams, there's 3 teams that really, I think, just stand out above everyone else, and he's put himself in that category this year.
Yeah. So next is going to be most surprising. Paul, I'll let you go first on this one.
Okay, so I didn't know what the criteria was here. If it was most surprising, like the good surprise or bad. I went more of the bad surprise. I've got Q. Like we said, dude's just been steady Eddie since he's joined this league. Drafts well, always does good in the redraft. Actually made a trade a couple weeks ago, sending Justin Jefferson to Dalton's team. In return, getting Bucky Irving, DK Metcalf, and some first-round picks. Like you said, the window might be closing. I don't know. I never thought I would see the day where Q's team was in the lottery, but, I mean, injuries have kind of, helped that. But I don't know. These next couple weeks are going to be big for him. He's getting Garrett this next week, so I think he's getting him at just the right time. That dude needs to see one go through the
hoop. Yeah, so I went kind of the other route. I went good. So my most surprising is you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, honestly, I would have probably put you for a different award we have here last week. But this week, I will say you did impress me putting up 150 points like that without having to have Rico Dowdle score a billion. Do I think you're a championship contender? In all honesty, probably not. But I think you have made some good moves. I think you wrote it out with DeAndre Swift, and he's been solid. Harold Fannon's been a good pickup. And I do think that you have some more options down here on the bench, too, that'll still get you some points. And you're doing all this without, like, Marvin Harrison and Malik Neighbors, especially Malik Neighbors, who was supposed to be a centerpiece of your team. Marvin Harrison just kind of hasn't produced to the top level, but taking the risk on Dak, spending the money on CMC, and I still thought maybe you were doing all that and still facing a bottom 2 team, and I think you're going to make playoffs. We'll see. Obviously, who knows? This league's super tight, but I do think that you put yourself in a good spot, and that kind of follows up the next thing, which was most disappointing for me, which I won't talk about a ton, but it's Q as well. So I just think that he was for me. I released the power rankings. I don't have them in front of me, but I know he was probably at least a top 4 to 5 team, and I mean he could be staring. He might be the ninth best team. To be honest, I don't. He could be eighth. I will say though, for everything that we're sitting here dogging on his team for, he's put himself in great position for the future. He's got his first rounder. He's got Dalton's first rounder. Both could potentially be lottery picks. So
Yeah.
you're taking a team that still has a lot of life in them, and he may get some dudes here immediately. So,
Oh,
but for
if he does miss the playoffs this year, I think he's immediately going to retool this team and be right back in them next year.
oh,
Like
definitely,
if he's down this year, he's not going to be down for long.
he doesn't miss in the draft very often.
No.
All right. So most disappointing, was that your kind of most disappointing, or
So once again, my most disappointing is Dalton.
okay?
I'm just waiting for this team to eventually break out. He's just got so many good players. The dude knows ball. I mean, he makes moves to set up his team well for the future, but it's like the dude has the worst luck in the league. I mean, Rashad White's a starter now. You'd think he'd be averaging double-digit points a week. Only had 6 this past week. Saquon wasn't going to play like it was last year. I mean, it's hard to back that up, but just really has been kind of disappointing this year. Jefferson, who he just traded for, only had 10 points this past week. Devonta Smith, that offense, as far as throwing the ball, hasn't been great. He did have a good week last week. Darren Waller's hurt now, so, I mean, they'll have to find someone to fill that tight end spot, which, I mean, when your starter gets hurt, you just throw anyone you can out there. Bijan, obviously, one of the best running backs in the league. Not worried about him, but it really just comes down to those last 3 flex spots for him. The pickings are scarce. I mean, Luke McCaffrey last week I don't even know if he had a single point. Maybe he had 2. I don't know.
No, he didn't.
Trey Tucker on bye this week. Romeo Dobbs, who I think is a competent player, but it's just, there's so many decent receivers in that offense. It's just who's going to, get the most targets this week. It's not one definite number one receiver over the other. And like you said, I mean, if he would have started Bo Nix this past week, I might have a different person here because at that point, he'd be 4-3 and right in the mix of the playoffs. But I don't know. His team's definitely starting to get older. Saquon's getting older. Jefferson in his 7th year. Bijan, I mean, he's still got a young player in him. I don't know. We'll see if he makes any more moves this year, if he just kind of stays put. I mean, with Q having his pick this year, I don't know. It's almost like you don't have anything to look forward to in the draft anyway. Might as well try and make a move to get yourself better, or maybe he just sells his good players and tries to get another pick to try and rebuild this team. I don't know. But, yeah, he's been the most disappointing just because we know how much of a ball knower he is, and it just hasn't resulted in fantasy wins. I think as far as our legacy standings go, he's like last or next to last, and it's so surprising to me.
Yeah.
But no fault of his own. It's just dude's had bad luck in this league so far.
Yeah. All right, so next is the F word, fraud. Who's the biggest fraud? Paul, you can start with this one.
Yeah, so I hate to say it because his team has been playing pretty well this year, especially for how the past few years have gone for him, being in the lottery, it seems like year after year. Jack, I'm sorry, buddy, but I think your team is definitely headed in the right direction, but I'm not sure if you're going to make the playoffs this year or not. Obviously, Mahomes, as far as from a fantasy standpoint, did a complete 180. He's elite in fantasy again. Quinshon Judkins, who I think is just an absolute monster. Jake Ferguson, who I thought would be the biggest downgrade once CD came back. I thought, he would be the one to see a lot less targets. I didn't think it would affect George Pickens as much, but, I mean, they just keep throwing the ball to Jake Ferguson. But, I mean, the big thing for him is, again, his flex spots. Like, other than Zay Flowers, who we'll see once Lamar comes back how he looks. But, yeah, when you're starting Xavier Legette and Keon Coleman every week, it's probably not going to be too pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll cut it short. I have the same thing. And it's not really because Jack's team has anything super bad. It's because he's lost. He has Tyreek on IR. He's not playing the rest of the year. Omarion Hampton is on IR. He's going to miss more than 4 games, it looks like. And Vidal is his replacement, yeah, but, I mean, is he going
just
to
for another couple weeks? I mean,
right? Well, and is he going to produce at the level of Omarion Hampton does, a top draft pick last year? And like I said, I love Rome Odunze, but I don't like Caleb Williams, and I think lately he's kind of fallen off, and that's because Caleb Williams is not that good. So, and then on the other side as well, I think RJ Harvey's going to start taking a lot from Dobbins. So I wouldn't be shocked if Jack made the playoffs, but I also wouldn't be shocked if Jack didn't have a lottery. But I do think he's overperformed to be 4-3 at this point.
That's the thing. I could see Jack going 7-7 and squeaking in the playoffs, or I could see him going 7-7 and being that team that just misses the playoffs based on points.
Right.
Because I honestly think that last spot could come down to me or him if I'm looking at it, and
yeah,
it's just all going to depend on how we finish. But
definitely, it probably honestly be a point scored thing. So next has been best owner. So this is more of like who's done the most with what they've had, and kind of not necessarily the favorites coming in or something like that. And so I was conflicted between two of them, and this one's not really going to make a lot of sense. But I put Jack for this as well. So he might be a fraud. He probably is a fraud, but he's done a hell of a good job. So go 4-3 with this team.
Yep.
He's put people in the right spot. He starts the right people a lot, but also he's building it. And Quinton Judkins and Omarion Hampton are awesome staples with Brock Bowers, with Odunze, like all these people that I do think are talented. I just don't think this year's the year. I think you maybe have gotten a little bit favorable matchups. You're eighth in points against, I believe. So in a weird way, your team might be fraudulent for this year, but I think you've done a great job. Obviously, I was between him and Grant. Grant's an easy choice. He's been insanely good with what he's had. He's done a crazy job of building. But I'm going to give it to Jack because I think Jack started a lot less than Grant did. Grant was super competitive last year. I can't remember. I want to say he almost got a bye last year, or he ended up with one. I mean, he had a good team coming in where Jack was one of the worst, and he's still has a really decent shot to get in the playoffs.
And you look at those two teams and the similarities between them, both I would say would be up for most improved team. And you look at both of their drafts, both of them killed it in this year's draft. And it just goes to show how one draft can completely change the trajectory of your entire team.
Yep, definitely. So
now
mine. Sorry, I thought mine. My bad. Yep.
No, you're good. So I kind of crossed it out instead of best owner, because I'm going to toot my own horn here a little bit. I don't want to call myself the best owner. I'm going to say best roster management because, just open the app and look at my team, guys. Like, I started 2 Browns tight ends for 3 straight weeks, and they went off every week. Having Dak as my QB1 after, all the injuries, not knowing what he was going to do, and the dude's just out there fucking slinging the pill. Christian McCaffrey, spending $77 on him, not knowing if he's going to snap his leg in half after 2 quarters. Rico Dak, look at my bench. Look at all the handcuffs. People, get handcuffs. It works. I'm telling you, Rico, 30 points multiple weeks in a row. And now it might hurt me having to start Chuba and Dowdle both, but still, DeAndre Swift, not a person in the world believed in DeAndre Swift this year. I didn't believe in DeAndre Swift, but I didn't want someone to pick him up for cheaper than what I had him. And the dude's been balling the last few weeks. I'm starting Marvin Mims this week, just praying to God he catches a couple balls for 40 yards. Harold Fannin, there's not a bigger Harold Fannin fan in the world than me. Might get you 8 points a week, but I'll fucking take it. T. Higgins, just praying the dude catches a touchdown every week. Starting Darnell Mooney, inserting him in the lineup this week. Please just get me 7 points, buddy. But being 4-3 after being in the lottery the last couple of years with this team, I think it's just astonishing roster management. And, I don't know what everyone else is saying. I'm doing all this without, one of the best receivers in the league, Malik Neighbors. Come on. I just want my flowers. That's all I really want. But